Hello,
Welcome to Scotch with Bob and Matt.
I'm Bob Pearson.
And I'm Matt Hardigan.
We're here to start a new channel teaching everybody how to drink whiskey, Scotch whiskey, single malt. And we've done this for a while, and we thought we would put it on to the public, and you get to know us a little bit. I started drinking Scotch back in college. I wanted something a little more sophisticated than beer, so I went to Scotch. We picked up Passport, Cutty Sark, and Teachers. I even climbed to the pinnacle of Scotches, which I thought was Chivas Regal. That was a fantastic little taste. We came down to Dunedin here, and we started going to some Scotch tastings put on by the Dunedin Highland Games, and was hosted by K.K. Koenig. And he had some things like Aberlour, Macallan, Glenlivet, and I learned that there was some single malt Scotches out there, so much better than what I was drinking on my shelf. We did that for several years with KK, and he was doing a great job, but like most of us, we get into some other events, and time runs short, and he decided that he was going to not do the whiskey tastings. I thought, well, that can't happen. We got to have the whiskey tastings. So I asked him, and we went to the Scottish American Society and asked if they wanted to sponsor the tastings. They said it sounded like a good idea, and we put on several tastings with them. Then they decided that they didn't want to do it, so there was a new group in town called the New World Celts, and I went to the president, Mike Dunlop, and pitched my tasting to him, and he loved it. I thought it was a great idea. And so we started doing tastings, but he did give me one caveat. He said we have to make at least $1. We can't lose any money. But knowing that we were financially successful, I didn't have a problem with that at all. And to this date, we have made money in all our tastings. We started the New World Celts and started doing scholarships. So we decided that all of the funds from the whiskey tastings would go to the scholarship fund of the New World Celts. And to date, I think we have given out around $50,000 in scholarships. I've been doing this for 22 years now, and having a great time doing it. And so I was just tasting several scotches. We were doing 4 at a time to start with, and so I was having about 6 scotches to pick which ones I wanted. Then the NWC decided that they wanted to do 2 tastings a year, so now we're up to 10 or 12 scotches that I had to taste. Along came a group of my friends, and they wanted to do a special tasting of some higher end scotches. So we started the Dunedin Single Malt Society, of which we did 2 of those a year, but we only did 2 scotches with them. But now I'm up to about 20 scotches, and a lot of work putting these events on. Several people of the NWC came forward, and the girls did a marvelous job making sure we had the food on the tables, we had the tables decorated, and they took a big load off of me. But I was still tasting 20 scotches a year, so I knew I needed some help here. One of the big fans that I had that came to a lot of my tastings was Matt Hardigan. And Matt not only enjoyed the tastings, but he was asking questions about how it's distilled, where it's from, all the little intricacies of distilling scotches. So I knew I had a partner in crime, and so I'll let Matt tell you his little history.
Thanks, Bob. So as Bob is the Scotch master for the Dunedin New World Celts, I became the Scotch master in training. And basically started going to the whiskey tastings that Bob put on about 10 years ago. And I had 1 bottle of Jameson at home, and that's all. And that's all I had. Never drank it, really. It was still on my shelf for about 12 or 13 years or so. So I tasted his Scotch and said, oh, I actually like this stuff. So I went to more tastings. Now it's been, like I said, about 10 years or so. And I started helping Bob a couple of years ago, and really do enjoy doing this with the education that I've gotten just from listening to Bob and doing some research, and we do enjoy our research, has been a great thing for us. Bob has this situation where if he walks down the street, people will call to him and say, "Hey, you're the Scotch guy." And I've had many people text me or message me on my phone, "Hey Matt, I'm standing in the whiskey aisle at my local liquor store trying to find a bottle for my husband. What can you suggest?" So the idea of Scotch with Bob and Matt really came out organically from just the information that we've gotten from and the requests we've gotten from people that ask us these things.
Well, Matt underestimates himself a little bit. I went over to his house the other day. He does have a shelf of Scotch. He also has a bookcase full of Scotch. And some of the Scotch bottles, he's got little tiny twinkle lights in them. And also his shelf has a light show that changes color, chases, does all sorts of things, lights up the bottom of the bottles beautifully. And so Matt is really an avid Scotch drinker now, and collector.
I wouldn't say collector, I'm a drinker. I like the way things look as well as the way they taste. Enjoying the Scotches as we do, I've also, because I have somewhat of a marketing background, I've gotten into some great relationships with a number of people in the industry, the distilleries, the brand ambassadors, and the local distributors. So from here to Scotland and back, I've had some great conversations with a number of people.
Well, I sat there doing the Scotch tastings. I was good at picking the Scotches. I was good at writing the little stories and entertaining everybody at the tasting. But I did have one skill that was lacking, and Matt brought that. He mentioned marketing. That's something that we needed, something that we're doing here right now. And getting into that, I have Matt Haynes with us, and he does our filming. He's our roadie. He takes care of all the YouTubing and the internet. And so it's been a big help with having those boys and then having the girls helping us at the tastings. I now can enjoy my Scotches a little bit more, and I can sit back and I enjoy teaching and telling everybody about the Scotches and drinking them and everything. So this is going to be a lot more fun right now.
And this is an educational endeavor. I mean, just like our whiskey tastings, we plan to talk about whiskeys, do tasting notes, talk about the different kind of glassware that you can use, the debates about whether you use ice or no ice, or water or no water, and all those things. We'll get into those. Bob's going to have some guests coming in that we're going to talk to. So go ahead.
Well, and we're going to have some guests. We're going to do some stories, which I'm good at, and have a good time on this channel. So we hope you subscribe and ring the bell and join our tasting group.
Like, share, and subscribe. Sláinte Bob.
Sláinte Bob.